All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to the morning show here on Stock Market TV. Got the full crew with you this morning as usual. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you relaxed. Maybe watched the Olympics, got outside. Hope you did all that because this week we have a lot going on. It's a very busy week on Wall Street. We've got the earnings. You know that, right? We've got the Fed. Some people care about those sorts of things, right? The Fed on Wednesday. Let's not forget that. We got a ton of economic data besides the Fed, so a lot in the way of like headlines and noise. A lot of noise. That's what I'm getting at. A lot of noise this week. So, but let's remember that let's stay focused. We got a lot going on. Let's stay focused on the charts, and the noise will sort itself out. Maybe, I don't know. As far as today's show, Kenny Glick, John Salama from Maverick Trading, and that's the rundown of the show. So, good morning, chat. Dawson, Joe, Rachel, Peter, Jason, Phil, Mary, Ravi. What's going on? Who'd I miss? Trickwood, first one in today. What's going on? Let's get the show on the road here. Bring the guys on and talk about charts.
Imagine Jason Tatum, big contract. You got the NBA Finals championship, and he gets benched the whole game against Serbia. What's up with that?
I watched the entire game.
Love that.
How about Jaylen Brown when he looks at pictures of all these guys, right? Drew Holiday is in there. Jason Tatum is in there. The guy that used to have the afro. What's his name?
Derek White.
What a stud Derek White is. Love Derek. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Celtics. I hope they lose every game next season. But Derek White is a stud, dude. Seriously. Jaylen Brown's just sitting around with his hot girlfriend and $300 million saying, all right, screw you guys. Or you think he's a little bummed out that he's not in Patty?
Why did you guys laugh when I said this could be LeBron James's moment?
Because LeBron James has had 15,000 moments.
Yeah, that's right.
Doesn't
all right.
Need another moment.
Yeah, does he need another moment? I think he's already established his place in history. No,
you think when he retires, people are going to think of him like Jordan and Kobe and the greats?
They already do.
They already do.
No, they don't.
Yeah. ESPN just came out with the top 150 players of this millennium, and it's LeBron, not Kobe.
Yeah, but people don't agree with that. ESPN might say that. I'm talking about like the general consensus among basketball fans. He has more to achieve, and this could be it.
Fine.
Bringing home the gold? No?
Yeah, he's done enough. He's in that caliber.
Are you guys excited for this week? It's such a busy week for headlines.
Why we should give a shit about what's happening this week, Spencer? Why should it matter to us?
It's gonna create headlines and noise and narratives. No?
Got it. So it's going to confuse our competition. So that's why we should be excited.
Yeah.
All right.
It's data, JC. It's data.
No doubt.
No? All right. Fine. Let's talk about state of the markets.
Please. All right, folks, big morning here on Wall Street. We've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average, also known as the world's most important stock market index, up 200 points. 200 points. Some people get offended when you quote the Dow in points, so we're going to go with 0.5% for those math majors out there. NASDAQ up twice as much. NASDAQ 100 futures up a full percent today. S&P 500 futures up 0.5%. Up across the board. 30-year bond futures up again, up 50 basis points this morning on the 30-year, 120 for the 30-year bonds. Crude oil flat, just under 77. Copper down another percent, still above 4, hanging in there nicely, but that's been quite a correction in copper. Gold up again, 1/3%, 24.40. Silver up 1/3%, above 28 with the volatility index still at 16.5, still relatively elevated. And then, of course, over in funny money land, you've got Bitcoin literally right at 70,000 as we speak, up 2.5% on the day. Ethereum up 3.5% on the day, just under 3,400. Solana up 4% on the day. That's 7 points. 192 for Solana. How you doing? Binance just struggling. Just can't get back above that 600. Up 1.5%. Right at 593. Total crypto market cap. Spencer Israel 2.43 trillion. With the Bitcoin dominance pushing 57%. So Bitcoin dominance continues to act well. What are we thinking here?
Well, I know Steve was too busy to watch the Olympics this weekend because he was watching the Bitcoin conference and Trump's speech, right? Right, Steve?
Listen, that was important. The market was, the market was anticipating it. They ran up into it, and I think a lot got leaked. But there were some things in there. You guys want to talk about some of the comments that came out?
Yeah, please tell me why we should care about anything that happened in Nashville and why we should care. It's Nashville, right?
You're right. It should have happened in Miami. I totally agree. Nashville this year.
No. I went to Nashville for the first time a few months ago. I'm in on Nashville, and I hate country music. I can't stand country music, but I didn't really hear that much country music. It was mostly rock and roll, and love Nashville. So you're not going to catch me saying one bad thing about Nashville. How about that?
All right. Can I give you some hot takes from the Bitcoin conference?
Why should we care?
Because this policy is going to matter, right? And whoever's going to be the next president is going to have to reside over Bitcoin and everything that we do with digital assets and how the SEC wants to regulate this and what the CFTC's role is going to be in it. President's going to matter. Somebody has to do something here. We can't sit here and continue to treat this asset class like it's not material, because it is material to a lot of people. So,
if a lot of people, really?
Huh? This is material to people.
I don't think it matters to anybody.
Dude, come on. There are kids who, invest all their money in cryptos in their Coinbase account and don't even have a brokerage account these days.
Right. So kids who have no money and don't matter.
The millennial generation. That's not.
I think you're in your own echo chamber, Strazza. I don't think anybody gives a shit about crypto, bro.
Okay. Anyway, fine.
Hold on. If anybody actually gave a shit about crypto, don't you think it would have been mentioned once in the debates?
BlackRock gives a shit about crypto.
Yeah, of course, because they're in the business. Yes. Thank you. You're proving my point.
Larry Fink is being tossed around as possible Treasury Secretary.
Great.
These things matter is my point. All right.
Well, he cares, as he should. He's in the business of caring. We care because we trade this every day. But when you say there are so many people who care about crypto, that's fake news. Okay, this is not true. Nobody cares.
Let me spin it another way. This is important to us from like a national economy standpoint, right? We're the leaders in the world because we're the leaders in tech and we're the leaders in innovation. Okay. If this crypto thing goes on and all that good stuff is happening somewhere else outside of the US, we miss out on that business, right? So I think there's a risk there too for the US to just miss it. Trump understands that. If Bitcoin is going to the moon, I want the United States to lead the way. I want crypto to be mined and made in the US. That's funny. He wants crypto to be made in the US.
Yeah.
Bitcoin as a miracle of cooperation, human achievement. He says one day it will probably surpass the market cap of gold. The reason I am addressing the Bitcoin community today can be summed up in 2 words: America first. If we don't do it right, China will. Let's do it right. And then he talked about how it's not threatening the dollar. There's no danger to the currency. He'll order the Treasury Department to cease the creation of a central bank digital currency. Bitcoin was moving up as he was making these comments. It took out 67K. He said, I will appoint a Bitcoin presidential council. There will never be a CBDC while I am president. We will keep every Bitcoin job in the U.S. I will shut down U.S. Operation Choke Point. The persecution of the crypto industry will end if I'm elected. On day one, it's my favorite part. On day one, I will fire Gary Gensler.
All right. Now let's play a little devil's advocate here. Is there a chance?
Yeah.
Is there a chance that he is completely full of shit and just saying these things to get votes? Is there a possibility of that?
Probably. But I mean, like you say, Bitcoin doesn't matter. No one's voting on it. That I agree with. So maybe. I don't think so.
Steve, you missed the biggest part, which was the national Bitcoin reserve, right?
Donald Trump to establish a national strategic Bitcoin stockpile.
Yeah.
Elected.
So the bet is that the Trump is telling the truth about his plans of Bitcoin at a Bitcoin conference approximately 3 months before the presidential election.
JC, I'm with you, man. This is campaigning. This is what it is, right?
Now,
Maybe.
to be fair,
Maybe
if what you're saying is true, Trump's doing a hell of a job. Hell of a job. Good for him. I mean, shilling the Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
Like nothing like a good shill going into the election, and he's doing a hell of a job.
I think you guys are missing it a little bit, right? It doesn't really matter if all of this stuff happens in 3 months when he takes office, or 6 months, whatever. It's that this is a radically different attitude than the government has had towards this asset class forever.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that one.
And also, JC, it's one of those things where it's like, you guys want to be like, oh, he's just campaigning. Well, it ain't bearish.
I'll give you that one too.
Well,
I'll give you that one too. If there is a fraction of truth in anything this man says, it's not bearish. I'll give Strazza that one too. 2 for 2. Yep, I'll give you both of those.
So,
all right. See, that's why we have these discussions, you see. So even if he's 99% completely full of shit, it's still not bearish.
Listen, the vibe I get is people like Brian
I'll take
Armstrong,
that he's less than 99% full of shit.
Right.
I'll take the under on that.
The vibe I get
50,
from
50.
the vibe I get from these comments and just the changing attitude is that people like Brian Armstrong might finally be heard. He's been out here saying the most practical shit for 5 years. Like, please regulate us. Please help me, somebody. I think requests like that will finally be addressed.
All right. Now let's talk about something that people actually care about. And that is the world's most. I know you care, Strazza. I care too, bro. But we're not everyone. We are very special, unique individuals in very unique circumstances. And we are just not a good sample size, Strazza, you and me.
Hey, if Trump wants to, I'm all for the Trump pump.
Me too. Me too. For the record, I'm all for it. Let's go, Orange Man. Push it, baby. Pump that bitch. Isn't it funny that the Orange Man is pumping the orange, taking orange pills? No? All right.
How incredible is Simone Biles? Did you watch this girl yesterday?
How about that Eddie Elfenbein was one of the Eddie Elfenbein's mom was one of the judges in the gymnastics.
Stop. Really?
Oh yeah. There's a picture of Simone like smiling afterwards, and Eddie's mom is there like very serious, like taking notes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let's get Eddie back on the podcast to talk about it. Spencer, can you throw up the most important chart in the world, please?
Right.
Please. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dow Jones Industrial Average making new all-time highs, highest levels ever. I got people talking to me about, massive corrections and, this is unsustainable and da-da-da-da. And I see the Dow Jones Industrial Average coming out of a multi-year base, making new all-time highs. Anybody out there counting these days? Spencer, throw up that advanced decline line. Come on. Throw up that advanced decline line. Anybody out there counting? For those of you who are into counting, I am a fan. You will notice that when you count the amount of stocks on the New York Stock Exchange that are advancing, and then you subtract those that are declining, and you take that number, and you add it or subtract it to the prior day's total, you will notice that on Friday, we closed at the highest levels in history. For those who count, and there are software services who do the counting for you. If counting is just not your thing, maybe you don't have time to count, maybe you don't know how to count. The counting is done for you. Highest levels ever, Strazza. Why should we care? Why should we not care?
No, I think it's important. This is great, right? You want to see this kind of confirmation from breadth. So the AD line making new highs is something you would expect and want to see when the major averages are new highs. Now it becomes the question, does the S&P and NASDAQ 100 follow back to new highs? Because the divergence is on their end now. Right?
Next chart, Mr. Israel. You're saying the S&P 500 is diverging. However, on an equally weighted basis, and the S&P 500 just closed at a new all-time high.
And this is the better comparison, right? You want to do the nice EAD line with something equal weighted or some sort of broad index, not a cap weighted measure. You'll get less divergences that way. We're in a strange place right now. We're in a very strange place with how heavily or how, top heavy these major indexes are. So we can be in a world like we've seen over the past few weeks where breadth is expanding, the market looks phenomenal, but the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 are selling off and they're lower.
Yeah, but you know what? The people who think the NASDAQ 100 is the stock market, don't they deserve to lose money?
I don't care. Well, no. I mean,
that's on them. That's not on the market. That's on them.
Look, if you built your portfolio like the NASDAQ 100, I don't think you did a bad job. So that really matters to you. We talk about this on here all the time. I think a lot of people's portfolios probably mirror, the major indexes and some sort of exposure breakdown like that, where they're heavy into Apple, Microsoft, right? The big names. So I think the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 do give most people a good idea of what's going on in their accounts every day. Of course, not everybody's like that, but I think that's a fair assumption to make.
Well, that's their problem.
Maybe.
What about, let's go down the cap scale. Mid-cap 400, new all-time high, Strazza.
So
These
good.
are the Jan Brady's of the world. They get forgotten about all the time. It's either large cap or small cap, large cap or small cap. What about the mids?
I've been thinking more about my small cap comments last week.
Which were?
Uptrend coming in, downtrend coming in. I don't know.
What do you mean uptrend coming in, downtrend coming in?
Well, how I was saying the biggest weightings that come in to the Russell 2000 are in downtrends. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was insightful.
You would have to apply the same logic to mid caps, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's flawed logic, so I'm not going to do that. Can you throw up the financials?
Yeah.
Arguably, the most important sector in America.
Yeah. Quick question, Mark Noller, because it's a good question. That they really don't want to do it in real time, right? Because they're measuring the number of advancing versus the number of declining issues on a daily basis. So they're going to wait till the closing prices, and then
there's a lot of brokers and stuff like that that'll give you the real time data.
Yeah, but you really want the closing prices. So most providers, you got to wait until
unless you're a day trader, because there are day traders that look for divergences, and I know them, where they'll see the market up, but they'll see the advanced decline line down intraday, but those are you think that nobody cares about crypto. Nobody cares about day trading. There's like 5 people, right? Like, so it's just a small segment of the population that's focused on intraday AD line, but it does exist. You can get it pretty easily. So financials, new all-time highs, arguably the most important sector in America. The next chart, you can also argue is the most important sector in America. Can you not?
Yep.
I'm not saying it is, but you can make a very valid argument that financials are the most important sector in America. You can make a very valid argument that industrials are the most important sector in America. Right?
Yeah.
Strazza's like, well, you can, but I'm going to argue that it's tech. Right? Am I right? How close am I?
Yep.
Spot on.
I would say definitely tech, just because of how large it is, right? That's really what's driving our GDP. But then industrials. I think industrials is a close.
You had to pick the 4 most important sectors. Financials and industrials would be in that top 4.
Yeah. How torn I am over financials. I would still put them in there. Maybe I'll change my mind in the future. But for now, they were always top 3, the financials. Right. I think they're falling in importance because of the major banks.
Strazza has this conspiracy theory, because I always say that we don't have bull markets in America without financials. Strazza's like, one day we're going to have a bull market without financials. That's what
I think we're slowly socializing our banking system. It's happening.
Next chart. You can also argue this one's up there. 3rd largest component of the S&P 500, 3rd largest component of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, new all-time highs.
These stocks bore me. But I am so interested in charts like Pfizer and Bristol Myers right now. There has been some pain in healthcare, and a lot of these stocks are nasty drawdowns. Pfizer's offering like a 5-point-something% dividend right now, coming out of a sweet base. I think there's a monster catch-up trade there. I think the plan providers are starting to look good. I mean, look at that breakout in UNH. But I wonder if the large healthcare components are bull market stocks. That's the problem I have with these, as you know.
We know that they are.
We don't.
We know that they are because United Healthcare is the largest component of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average is the world's most important index, and the world's most important index is going to have a hard time going up as fast as it should if its largest component is going down.
Can I tell you what I did?
You see? Am I wrong?
Can I tell you what I did with healthcare?
Tell me what you did.
IBB broke out of a beautiful base a couple weeks ago. We did a deep dive on biotechs. We looked through all of these companies. I built my own basket. I bought like 10 biotechs, a little bit of each. Just built my own.
That's how to do it. That's how to do it.
Like, and those are bull market stocks. That is the risk on industry group within healthcare. That's the juice. So I think new uptrend for this group. Go find the best ones. Get in there. Maybe drop the link to that biotech post. I thought it was.
And I'll tell you what, Strazza definitely took this one from me. I'll take the credit for that one. Good on you for the execution. But I'll take the credit on that one. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Because when you buy the XBI, you get an equally weighted basket of like 250 biotech stocks.
Yeah, most of them are crap.
Most of them are crap. It's not even that most of them are crap. Most of them are just like in the middle. You got a bunch of crap. You got a handful of good ones and just a whole lot of stuff in the middle.
Okay.
If you take out the crap and most of the stuff in the middle and you just own the best ones, I think that's going to be a much better than owning the XBI, number one. Number two, you could buy the IBB if you want, which is the market cap weighted biotechs, which are by definition the best ones, but a lot of these are monsters. So when you think biotech, you think more little guys. So if you're looking for the little guys, you got to go to the little guys versus buying an ETF that has a bunch of the big guys. How's that like thought process? I think that's a valid way to think about it. No,
100%. And I think there are certain industry groups, JC, that lend themselves more to building your own custom basket than others. And I think biotech is one where you want to go and do that picking yourself and build your own.
All right.
Can I tell you another thing before we bring Kenny on really quick?
Please.
Real fast.
So as we were doing this, I'm looking through my biotech universe. There's over 700 companies listed on the major exchanges in the US that are biotechs. Okay. 17 of them have market caps above 10 billion. 110 of them fall into this sweet spot between 1 billion and 10 billion. JC, this is the 2 to 100 club. This is minor leaguers. It's the same idea. What are we looking? We're using market cap because it's the best quality filter that we have to tell us which ones we should look at. So instead of looking through 700 biotechs, if we look at the ones that are breaking through to 1 billion, they usually end up going to 10 billion. That's the market telling you there's something there. They're usually working on a drug. They're in phase 2 or phase 3, right? They're about to come to market with something. That's a really sweet spot. We found that most of the names that we put trade ideas on in the biotech deep dive, they're all between 1 and 10 in this little sweet spot because the market is validating them by giving them a market cap of $1 billion. And I think that's the way we're going to run the scan in the future.
It's a good way to think about it. One more thing, Spencer, before we bring in Kenny, throw up slide 2, please, quick. Because we've never gotten this good of feedback throughout the weekend. Emails coming in from everybody, just messages across the board. People so stoked about the breakout multiplier. So Rangefinder is our software that we've been working on. And by we, I have like my thoughts, and then we have really actually smart people who can actually build things who do it for us.
It's not us, I promise. The real tech people. The real
tech people. Yes, they are. Who are also traders, which really helps a lot. A trade just got put on Signmark Holdings last week. Check that out. And today we are having our first of 4 courses on options, which is really exciting, on how to multiply and maximize the opportunities when they come. But I just want to reiterate, and the reason I bring this up, and Spencer, drop the link. The reason I bring this up is, seriously, people are freaking out about this. We've never gotten this much amazing feedback on anything we've ever done, ever. So well done, Strazza. Well done, Brett and Carrie, everybody behind the scenes. You guys are killing it. These are only the biggest and best trades. So we're not going for 10, 20% returns on these trades. If it's not a double, then we're not interested.
All right, link is in the chat and the description. Kenny, let's go.
It's been a long time coming. They ain't come for my clock, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 pounds, and I still kept it 100. Hola.
USA, USA.
You like the juice? You like the juice? I heard you say something about the juice. What's up, y'all? How are you?
I like that shirt.
Thanks. It's better on the back.
Don't be a dick. Vote Glick 2024. I like it. I like it.
I got my son's fraternity new pledges parading around JMU campus wearing these shirts now. So
People are actually going to go to the ballot and wonder why there's no Glick.
I am wondering the same thing, my friend.
Yeah.
It's my time.
You can get on the ballot. Wasn't there like last election? Wasn't there like a rant? Wasn't Kanye like on a few ballots around the country?
I think these nuts were on the ballot.
Yeah. Kenny, new all-time highs for the Dow on Friday. Last week we had the most amount of stocks on the New York Stock Exchange above their 200-day moving average this entire bull market. We had the most amount of new 52-week highs on the New York Stock Exchange and the NASDAQ, by the way, this entire bull market. Advanced decline line on the New York Stock Exchange, new all-time highs. So not a bear market, right? Probably not a bear market.
Any second. The rug pull's coming.
Rug pull's coming. Right, for recession, I'm being told. I'm being promised a recession. People forget that recession is a choice for most of us, right? If you are a market participant, you have some leeway in terms of what a recession means to you exactly. Kenny Glick, why don't you tell me how we're going to take advantage of this bull market today? What's on the move?
Well, the funny thing is, I heard you say that if you think the QQQ is the market, then you deserve to lose money. Hey, I'll tell you something. The Qs will probably double before they spy in the Dow again in the next 4 years. If I had to choose what's going to double in the next 4 years, I'll go Qs. So
the rest of the world agrees with you, Kenny. That's why the technology is 33% of the S&P 500, highest it's ever been. The world agrees with you. My suspicion is there will be some mean reverting. And I
love it. The mean reverting is what we did. Those were one or two of my best calls I think I've made in a very, very long time on the Qs to get the pullback area to where they exactly were, which is where now, if anybody thinks we're going lower, those two low prints that we held, 462.50, and of course the I think it was 455.58. That's going to be major going forward. So again, we got Microsoft and all the big guys coming out this week, and then Nvidia at the end of the month. So we got some room to consolidate and use the Qs as the ATM machine, which is what it's been the last couple of days or last couple of weeks. But you know what? I branched out. Have you seen these IPOs? New highs, OSLINE. Not much volume on line to trade as a day trader, but
what's the ticker symbol?
Line. They came out a couple of days ago, and again,
Lineage.
As long as they don't collapse the first day, or actually, I like when they collapse because then they have a chance to come back. I forgot what IPO I was trading a couple of weeks ago that did a nice. Viking was pretty decent.
Yeah, Viking.
Yeah, and OS. It's very interesting. Again, when they get bought on the first couple of days, you just look for them to break new highs, and usually stocks that get through the 80s go right to the hundreds, and OS, if it gets into the 30s, they generally go to 50. So I got those on the watch list now, and again, a lot of those stocks that we talked about last week stayed in place. Serve. I mean, this stock is legitimately one of my favorite stocks to trade right now, short and long. It's all over the place every day. But today we got my big boy, my baby Rambus. It's the forgotten chip stock from the 90s. This was everybody's favorite stock for a while. It was either you had iOmega, well, I could go even further back. You had a DoubleClick, Netscape, but Rambus and Qualcomm were the kings, and it's forgotten. And I think it's going to make a dramatic comeback. It just needs to get that over that hump. And again, this is a 20-year chart. If you look at this thing, this is a 20-year chart. If you guys remember Rambus, this was the Nvidia before Nvidia. So this is a 20-year consolidation that it broke out of, and now we're just consolidating again over the last year or so. I think we get this thing into the 80s and then all-time highs. And this is one of the only stocks out there that hasn't, again, a lot of stocks haven't gone back to all-time highs, but this one on a trajectory where I thought it would be there by now. So I'm loving this stock, and we'll see tonight. If they disappoint me one more time, I might have to cut bait. It's one of the only stocks I own, and I've owned it for about a year and a half in the 40s. And just waiting to see if it gets over 76. I don't mind buying more, because once we get into the 80s, I think we get to 120.
When you zoom out like you did, kudos to you. And by the way, you've been all over this, so this isn't like Kenny's just coming out today with the Rambus. We've been talking about this for quite some time. I mean, seriously. I mean, are those former all-time highs a magnet? Because that's a double from here.
That's what I'm thinking. I think if we could get into the 80s, 80 is a big number. If we could get through that threshold, generally $80 stocks don't stay 80. They get into the hundreds and go to $100
roll. Everybody get your roll on.
Yep.
What?
And then if this thing's at all-time highs, then again, who knows what's going to happen? So again, big fan of the stock. I like that nobody knows about it. So if it becomes a popular stock again, who knows what's going to happen? And that's why I'm liking it. And I think they report after the close today. But I'm going to be staying focused. Q's obviously UVXY. I stayed short the whole week, so it was a scary week to be short UVXY for the first time in about a year. So we made it through it. It never broke over 30. I'm still short. I'm looking for it to go back under 25. If it doesn't, that tells you that there's still residual selling to be done, and that's where I'm at right now.
So Line is the $20 billion REIT that just came out. OneStream's a software stock, small, 700 million. So much different animal there on the OS.
Yeah.
But worth a look. I love that you're looking at the new issues, Kenny. Love that.
Yeah, I like
OS up all 3 days since the IPO.
Yeah, when they break new highs, they, again, blue sky breakouts in a bull market. What more do you need? So
that's what we're looking for. Absolutely.
Generally,
well done, Kenny. Well done.
Yeah. All right, I'll go then. I'll leave on a high note. You guys have a good day.
All right. See you, Kenny. There's the link to get into Kenny's room right there on the screen. Hitthebid.com. I do recommend it. All right. Should we bring on today's featured guest, JC, Mr. John Salama?
Please. I just want to reiterate just one thing quick. Kenny's focus on new issues here. That OS, that Line, new issues in general. They're happening now quite frequently.
Sign of a bull market.
Probably not a bear market. That's right.
Yeah. All right. Someone in the chat said John Solana. No, not Solana, like the crypto. Salama. He's here. He gave us a few charts to look at.
Love it.
Down at the bottom of the deck. So let's bring him on.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
There he is. What's up, John?
Good morning, fellas. How are you?
Fantastic. Good hanging in New York City.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a good time. The CMT social last week. We discussed some of this stuff.
Nice showing, right?
Bigger than the super spreader event a couple of years ago. Massive showing. I was congratulating Tyler. That was solid.
No, it was. And you want to know something? A lot of new faces, a lot of young faces. Right? I'm old enough to remember when I would walk into one of these things and it's just a bunch of old white guys. Right?
Yeah.
As far as the eye could see. Bunch of old men telling each other how great they are, right?
We're talking about the old glory days.
At all.
Yeah. I saw a lot of people studying for their level 1 in December and stuff, just getting into it. Yeah, it's good that the word's still spreading and they know there's a lot of wisdom and technical analysis, man.
Young crowd, a lot of new faces. Like I even go into, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to know most of the people in there. That wasn't the case at all. I didn't know most of the people there, right? Which is fantastic, right?
Yep.
Which is great. So highly recommend it. The CMT Association, whenever they have an event, go, show up, say hi, introduce yourself, meet people. It's how John and I know each other. It's how I know a lot of different people we met at these sorts of things. So, John, let's talk markets. We got new all-time highs on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, new all-time highs, equally weighted S&P 500, advanced decline line, new 52-week highs list, percentage of stocks above their 200-day. None of these things suggest that this is a bear market at all. So how are you thinking through this bigger picture? And then let's dive in.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot of cash slushing around. We are going higher. I think if you're in the mega cap tech trade, I think you'll be fine. You'll probably have, a 30-ish, 40% year, it looks like. But there is a big catch-up trade happening. And I brought a few charts about that, about the come-uppers just lately. You talked about one of the most important sectors in America. Obviously, the financials and all the caps are getting the love there. So there's just a lot of money going around, including when I had to exit. I saw Strazza talking about the biotech breakout. ARCG was my baby short. It was the best short in the market up until recently. And then I had that breakout. There's just a lot of money chasing different areas. So let's take a look. See, is this ARCG? Yeah, so this was my short. This was the best short in the market alongside Nat Gas and VXX itself.
Hold on, take a step back.
Yeah.
Why don't we explain to the folks what an ARCG is?
So this is similar. This is Kathy Wood's version of the biotech firm. I forget the exact what she's in, like Exact Sciences. She moves it out a lot. It's not equally weighted. I'm not sure about that actually, but it's kind of moves similar to the XBI and the IBB in a way. Looked very heavy, obviously very reactive to, higher for longer. So this was just in a downtrend for, pretty much a year. You can see that heavy slope on the 200-day moving average, which is that black line slicing the middle of the chart, and just loser profile. You see the big red that's oversold, under 30 in the RSI, just loser profile. But now, as technicians, we see that beautiful tag to the 200-day like last week. And then it started to go dip a little bit further now. And now it's trying to challenge it again. I'm not sure if it breaks out and goes way to the upside, but I don't want to be short.
I like what you said there, loser profile. Love that.
Absolutely is, man.
I hadn't really thought of it that way, but that's exactly what it is. Loser profile.
Yeah, I like stochastic momentum mix. This gets a little bit into I don't know, astrology. I don't know if you guys ever use this, stochastic momentum mix. You ever use it?
Why don't you walk me through that?
So it's a combination of like the McLennan oscillator, and it puts the stochastics behind the momentum to compare environments. So it's a little, I don't want to say pie in the sky, but you can actually see when a stock topped out, for example, if it gets tired. I kind of compare it to when you're at the gym doing high intensity interval training type stuff. When you're working out for a while, you kind of know when you're going to take a longer break. And that's what I see in these kinds of names. When I look at a loser profile, I know where more than not where it's going to go. And you can actually look at that blue line on the bottom panel, stochastic momentum mix, each time where it gets tired. And then where it outperformed is where it bucked the trend and actually got above the 200-day moving average. So I'll look for that first if it happens. Obviously, everything follows price, so I'll know from that first. But it's helpful in comparing environments. We had it similar, and we'll have this. I have the same panel on all the charts. So just the reason I wanted to show ARCG was it's really hard to find shorts. Really, really difficult. Money is expanding. Capital is finding new areas. It's very difficult to find shorts.
Hold on. Is that when it's difficult to find shorts, do you use that as information to further reiterate that maybe you should be doing more buying than short selling? How do you think of it like that?
Good question.
Yep. Yes, but I'm so long as it is. I'm already long Bitcoin, Nvidia, utility. I already have a pretty diversified long portfolio. I need something just for the down days across caps. It's difficult, and this used to be my go-to. Used to always roll put spreads on this every Friday, sell the 15 delta put against it for the next week. It's just very difficult. So I can't just be uber long, although that's, sometimes I just want to wake up, buy SPY, and go to bed. I remember we talked about that at CMT, but that's not our job.
No, it is not. There's nothing wrong with doing some of that, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can we skip down to these regional banks there, slide 16, Spencer? I mean, the way I looked at it, was that this was an interest rate story, the underperformance from regionals and biotechs, and then interest rates rolled over and these things ripped. In my opinion, further reiterating that, yes, in fact, it was an interest rate story. Do you see it that way? Do you look at it differently? It's more of just a financials thing. How do you think about it?
Honestly, a little bit combination. It's interesting. You could see it based, right? You see it range bound from December, and then the breakout just happened the past 2 weeks. I think when people really started sniffing the Fed cuts, that they were going to help firms like this. And some of the regionals, even the super regionals, were crushing earnings. I saw a bank in New York, a couple of other banks. I don't know how much that contributes, but it was helpful. And then you see, this really was never oversold all year. So I don't want to.
No, thank you. You see, Spencer, somebody's paying attention. I remember saying that every day for weeks. Be like, has anybody noticed that these regional banks haven't gotten oversold all year? All year.
Yeah,
Thank you, John.
It looked heavy up until Thanksgiving, and then they had that 52-week high. But this was a 2023 story. Obviously, Silicon Valley Bank and all that stuff was behind us. But this breakout in the past 2 weeks, I think they're sniffing out rates. And it's not just JP Morgan and Goldman hitting all-time highs every day. Like you said, it's going across the cap. So you're seeing these regionals here, like the Bank of New York. You're also seeing Deutsche Bank, Barclays. There's money going to financials globally. And look at the overbought recently and all the green bars. This thing has had 2 down days in the past 2 weeks. So, the RSI is getting a little bit crazy. You can have a 4% slide probably soon one day, but I still think it's going to hold the 21-day exponential moving average and be a buying opportunity. I don't think it's going to give up that previous 52-week high at 54. It's a little hard to see on the screen, but I don't think it's going to go below that. And this is a reason to be long. And also look at the stochastic momentum mix. It can just trail here like you're on the treadmill, just starting to warm down a little bit, but it's probably not going to go too much here in terms of velocity and picking up more. But I would stay long. I don't want to be short.
All right. So you already said that you're long Bitcoin. So let's just go there. Throw up the grayscale.
So yeah.
First of all, why'd you bring Grayscale? Why didn't you bring something else? Out of curiosity.
So the next 5 tickers. The reason Grayscale. So I do a lot of like ETF macro stuff, pretty much only, and then I get into single stocks if I want. But these next 5 charts that you're going to see are the best 5 performing trades in absolute terms, plus or minus in terms of best percentage return long or short from the past 52 weeks. So these are 2023 second half stories, 2024, and I believe 2025 stories. And I want to see if we're spotting any kind of reversals or continuations to stay in. So GBTC is the best performing ETF in the market. Obviously, it had that crazy premium discount stuff last year, and that's why it's got more history than IBIT or BITO. So it's up 213% as of Friday at 4 o'clock. Beautiful 200-day moving average slope up there. Looks like it wants to take out the 52-week high that it struck back in March. I think this is continuing. I don't think it matters who the president is. It didn't matter back then. I know the convention or the conference was this past weekend in Nashville. We're going to have millions of reserves, and I think Michael
Was the Hawk Tua girl was there, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I saw it with Robert Kennedy and
Nice.
I don't know. Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Dr. Doom. I don't know. A lot of things were going on the expo. I got very confused if you woke up in the middle of the night, looked like an acid trip. But anyway, yeah, this looks great. I'd want to be long. It's interesting. People were really pumping the Ethereum ETF approval. Then you saw it trade sideways, and then it really traded better. Just you got to stay long Bitcoin. It's when you look at that asset return quilt that I know Ben Carlson usually puts out, and many folks do. Bitcoin's easier at the top. The best returner or the very bottom. And it's been at the top for the past 3, 5, 10 years. I can't ignore that kind of a look back if you're just trying to make money. I don't care about being right. I'd rather own mega cap tech because I love the revenues and the price upgrades and everything. I'm addicted to buying mega cap tech, but I have to allocate portfolio in my IRA and in the prop trading account in Bitcoin. I just have to. And this chart tells me why.
All right. So Bitcoin, and when you look at the risk-adjusted returns of Bitcoin versus anything else, it's such an outlier. It's insane, right?
Yeah. That's like AD Vol. A lot of these names, you see NVIDIA trade, and it's going just range bound. Yeah, you gotta stay along Bitcoin. If you don't have any allocation, you have to.
Yeah, the risk is not being in it, right? It's one of those.
Yeah, exactly. Investing,
not being in it, not owning enough, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly. That's why I got in. I hate to say it, but investing is risky. Not investing is riskier.
Right. Yes. Could you imagine being one of these people who was bragging about their 5% risk-free return in cash? Could you imagine being one of these people?
But they were dancing last week. They were dancing last week saying, "Oh, we told you we were going to be down 2%." I'm like, "We're up that just from 2 sessions."
Dude, if you've been sitting in 5% cash or 5% yielding cash for the last couple of years, you're never, ever going to make up for that. You're never going to recover, ever. No matter what you do, that will hurt you for the rest of your life. You are fucked.
It hurts, yeah, man.
You were one of those people bragging about your 5% risk-free. That is going to haunt you for the rest of your life. So if you're not one of those people and you actually were participating in the bull market, look around and look at those people because we're going to be in that situation again in the future. And if you think that 5% risk-free is actually risk-free, then you're a fool. Because the biggest risk is the opportunity cost and what could have been. And so think about that. So if you're not one of those people, good for you. But that doesn't mean that there isn't a lesson here. It's a great lesson here, especially if you didn't get hurt, right? Watching other people ruin their lives. Those are better lessons, right? John, can you speak to that a little bit and then we'll move on?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Druckenmiller said it was if a stock move, 50% is the market, 30% is the industry, and 20% is the stock you pick. So I get the addiction to passive investing and everything. I don't know if you want to risk everything going in Uber or a single name like that. Be careful. You see the returns on Ford, Live Nation, stuff that people buy, brands they live in, and you're not beating the S&P, man. You're just not beating S&P. And with this AI tailwind, it's like this flywheel. Those companies have to have that capital to invest in that. You can't just be the startup on Broome Street in Soho, in New York City, and you're just like, "Oh, we're gonna get in the I game, maybe," and hopefully we get buyout.
Who says Broome Street?
I don't know. I thought of the other street where all the startups are in Silicon Valley East or whatever it's called in New York. But yeah,
where are they?
They're all I invest in.
They're all in Soho, right?
Soho, yeah, that's why I was
You know what?
asking.
When people mention Soho, how many people? Look, Rachel's in the chat. How many people mention Broome Street, Rachel? Right? Like, I'm just giving you a kudos on this one, right? Nobody ever says the words Broome Street.
Yeah.
Shout out to Broome Street.
And this is the thing, to your point, John, about people who, and JC, people who raise a bunch of cash. Even if you time it correctly, what you don't realize is oftentimes the hardest part is not selling; it's the buying back in. Right after, you have to be right twice. To be right on the way out and right on the way in, and that's really, really difficult. So, you know, you can miss, and then you miss it, and you're like, oh crap, I missed it. It's too late, and then you keep missing it, and then compounds.
All right, ready for this? Hard pivot. Ready? Hard pivot. Right? Talk to me about natural gas, Mr. John.
I tell you, if you got the chart up, it's the only short now since ARCG. I mean, those companies technically have a tailwind from the rate story, right? If we do get 50 bips in September cut and 25 in December, ARCG has a little bit of a tailwind. Nat gas, this thing is just a mess. They're probably going to have to reverse split this thing soon. It is garbage. And look at the beautiful, I know you guys will respect this. Look at the tags in the past year of the 200-day moving average, the black line. That's as much as it can muster. Totally loser profile, except what happened in May. I don't know what happened there, but on your checklist, look what happened. 200-day, bang, right lower. 200-day, and it did it pretty tight in a 2-week span, straight lower. I have a radio or a YouTube show 3 times a week. We highlight macro stuff. It's at Never Die JS on YouTube, and I've been featuring nat gas because it's moves magnificently per day. I mean, in terms of volatility, someone's writing hot garbage in the chat on nat gas, and it's one of the few things. And I was like, it could, maybe, coulda, woulda, shoulda, made a new 52-week low. And it did last week. And there's nothing else you can say for that except wheat. But wheat is such a small, it's WEAT. I'm not talking about the futures. It's such a small class of stock. I don't cover it. But the commodities are going lower. Part of the lift of, the 2.5% inflation year over year from the Fed's favorite gauge, as it were. These commodities are going lower, and nat gas, if this just put in a 52-week low, I want to see that stochastic momentum mix and at least go up a little bit, and the RSI get to maybe a 45. I don't think it's that strong to get a 50, and I'm going to roll put spreads in this again. By the way, nat gas is the 3rd best trade of the past year in absolute terms. It goes GBTC up 213%. Long semis, SMH is the 2nd best trade, up 55%. And then this one's the 3rd best at minus 53%. So there is alpha here if you're shorting.
You press these shorts here, John?
I don't like doing it with like a 13 handle. I really need to see it bump up. And the volatility in terms of the options, when you do the put spread against it, you do get paid. But you got to be careful.
Yeah. They call natural gas the widowmaker for a reason. Right?
I love that. Yeah.
Is there a bigger widowmaker in the world?
There's probably a joke there somewhere, but I haven't had that much coffee.
Like one can argue lumber, but who the hell trades lumber?
Yeah.
I know I'm like 0 for 3 in my lumber futures trades in my entire career. Hopefully I never trade lumber again. If you guys ever see me trading lumber, somebody smack me, please.
Were you trading when all the memes were going crazy? Like, oh, I'm going to take her somewhere fancy for dinner. And it was like a Home Depot with all the lumber behind you.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember like in 2013, I'm walking through Times Square, God only knows why, and I'm like looking. I had just gotten off the subway, and I'm like watching myself get stopped out of my lumber trade, and I'm just like, what? What am I doing?
Where has my life gone wrong? Yeah,
James.
Don't trade lumber or oats, right? What do they say, gentlemen? Don't trade oats.
How do you even trade oats?
Oats futures. Yeah, the old saying is that gentlemen don't trade oats. I've never traded oats.
You're a gentleman, I guess.
Didn't know that was a thing.
I don't know about all that, but all right. Let's talk VIX. What is the? Why don't you explain to the folks what this VXX is?
This is one of those exotic VIX ETNs, right?
So this is the main one, VXX. They just had to reverse split it. This is based on front month futures. It's the volatility ETF. It's probably the best tracker gauge of fear, I guess, for retail VXX trades. It's gotten decimated. This thing doesn't even get close to the 200-day moving average. And you just saw 3 days ago that little S signifies that they had to split it. That's how much a piece of crap this is. And I think nat gas is on the way. This is the 4th best trade of the past year, down 48%. So it's right in between, in terms of shorts, it's right after nat gas. It's a little tough because it's VXX. It's a non-time series chart, or instrument. So it's a little bit tough to chart and apply, straight technicals on. But I do. So it gets kind of strange when you see the 52-week high back in, last October, but that's when we were dealing with issues here. But if you ever see this thing get, 2% above its 21-day exponential moving average, I would get ready to aggressively do more credits in my option strategies, just because I know we're collecting more premium.
Huh.
You could use dollar VIX, of course, in front month VIX futures. VXX is just easy because it's in all the data providers.
It's a little fancy for me.
It's the fourth. I got you. It's the fourth best trade of the past year to the short side. So it's kind of even that in of itself. Nat gas. What I'm talking about, it's hard to find shorts. Nat gas is an actual instrument you short. VXX, when you're shorting it, you're going along the market since this is the next, expected return 30 days out of the market. So a little bit, I guess, in the weeds. So because it's another long, and that's what I'm saying. It's so hard to find.
It's a little fancy. It's a little fancy for me, and I can get fancy.
I know you can get fancy.
This is a little fancy.
JC, the last one's more up your alley.
I was going to say, can we get into the homies? Talk to me about the homies. That's more my steez.
Dude, the homies have been on absolute fire. I wanted to short this like a week ago just because it got so extreme. But I'm glad I did not. This thing's pressing on 52-week highs every day. Again, the rate story. So to say, bringing back what you said before about the regionals, why are they breaking out? I think the market is digesting lower rates, by beginning of calendar year 2025. And I think these firms are like Pulte Homes. We were talking about on my video last week. TriPoint, KB, they're all hitting 52-week highs and higher. Look at the slope of the 200-day moving average. Yeah. This thing has barely, this has never gone, oversold. You had that scary moment back in the fall when it went below, and that was your 52-week low. That was a great opportunity. And then it was overbought just a couple of weeks later. Breakout, higher highs, beautiful chart. I don't think trees grow to the sky, but you want to be long here. I'm looking at the stochastic momentum mix, and it looks a little, maybe it needs a little bit of water on the side, heart beating as a runner. You just need to catch your breath. Maybe it comes down to that convergence of lines in the middle there. That's a middle Bollinger Band, 21-day exponential moving average, and a 50-day moving average, simple. I think it probably rests there somewhat in the next week or two before it resumes higher. All that being said, this market as a whole wants to go higher. We've been adding 2.5% or so a month. There's catch-up trades. This home builders is the fifth best trade in the past 52 weeks, up 40%.
Let me ask you something, John.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Strazza likes to point out how home building stocks, home construction stocks in particular, not like, the chemicals and consumer discretionary that get thrown in these ETFs, but specifically the companies that build homes. He looks at them more like industrials, and they trade an awful lot like industrials, to his credit. How do you think about that? Or have you ever thought of it like that?
Yeah, when I think industrial, to be honest, I really do think the big firms. Like I think of Deere, Caterpillar. I understand you need those to build homes, right? So I get what you're saying. It's like right church, wrong pew kind of thing. But these guys specifically need to rent out multifamily homes. So it's a little bit more, a gauge into the, the consumer and the economics behind that and mortgage rates and if people want to get in this line. Caterpillar and Deere, that's just all kind of different stuff globally and like industrially speaking and expansion.
But the homies trade more like industrials than they do consumer discretionary, like by a long shot.
You're saying the XLY specifically consumer discretionary or that?
Or equally weighted, pick your discretionary.
Yeah, XLY is a little messed up because it's the Amazon Tesla fund. It's
fine, they look equally weighted. Still don't look like homies.
Yeah, that's true.
Listen, I don't want to give Strazza credit. Nobody here wants to give Strazza any credit. But he's been right.
Yeah, they do. I'll do an overlay and look at that again closer. Yeah, I'd be curious. I'll do a little bit more on that. Yeah, I just know when I think industrials, man, I think Deere, Caterpillar, the big cranes on the street. Yeah. And then I think these guys.
Honeywell.
Yeah, and then I think these guys, XHB and ITB, I think literally the home builders, they're building up properties all over the country, huge towers, so on and so forth, changing residential or office into residential, so on. So it's different in my head of their usage. He's right. Both charts have beautiful 200-day rising slopes.
All right, two things. Number one, you said Bitcoin. What is the altcoin of choice? And do you go down the old block and chain, or is it only strictly equities and ETFs? So it's only Bitcoin and Ethereum now.
I do. I'm like GBTC and IBIT. I don't do the altcoin game. I'm still like very macro and doing options on macro. I don't do the. I don't go down all that crazy dog, Doge, whatever.
Is it
you
crazy
guys.
though? Is it
What's that?
crazy? Is it What's crazy about it?
No, I don't know. I like to do my due diligence, and I don't know. I'm sure I could chart that stuff and do just the same. And I have my Coinbase account and everything. I get involved, but this stuff keeps me busy, man. And options chains, if you can look at the complexity of that, I don't have time to go into Shiba Inu and whatever the hell you guys do. I know there's money to be made there. I know, especially with Bitcoin and Ethereum sitting where they are, man. Props to you. Congrats on doing it. I know you can make money doing it in your wallets. I'm just stuck doing options on macro. And that's why I have so much
love the
hair on my
boomer
head.
comment. I know you could do your wallets, right? I like that. That was good. No, but I respect it. Listen, we all have a line, and that is beneath your line, and I respect that. Some people are like, do we just trade anything that moves? And the answer is no. But if it's moving, I'll take a look. I'll consider it, right? I'll consider it. Also, when it comes to election years, right? Bull market, August in election years tends to be a good month. Do you think about that a lot? Is it completely irrelevant? I don't give a shit who the president is. It's a bull market. Buy stocks and shut the fuck up. Like how do you think about it?
Yeah, more so the latter. But I don't know if you saw that chart this past week. I forget who put it out, so I don't want to give anyone false credit. But there is a divergence right around here, depending on some very colorful comments in the chat. There's a divergence here depending on if the incumbent wins or if the challenger wins, and there is a deviation in
there's no incumbent
going forward. Yeah, exactly, right.
So all that gets thrown out the window.
The incumbent party, even
oh yeah,
it's complicated. I know. All that being said, this market's going higher. The AI tailwind doesn't care about that. I know Nvidia, is trading where it is, 113, whatever.
Is AI a tailwind or a potential headwind that's too much hype, bunch of bullshit?
Tailwind now, but I am a little fearful. I don't know if you saw, JP Morgan has this whole new LLM chatbot that's getting rid of a lot of research analysts because it can write reports for you, prep decks, and do everything. And obviously,
I'm pretty sure we need to get rid of some of these research analysts, John. Come on. You've been around the block.
No, I know, but stuff like that, all banks are going to adopt it. I'm just saying, in terms of it's hard finding a job now for a bunch of folks, and it's 4% unemployment, whatever. I think right now it's a tailwind because the use cases are still expanding for AI.
By the way, just because there's going to be fewer sell-side analysts doesn't mean that's not bullish.
Yeah, fair.
The decline in number of sell-side analysts has been in a bear market for decades now.
Speaking of
right?
funny sell-side things, there was Deutsche Bank was trying to come out and defend CrowdStrike after that outage, but they couldn't publish their note because of the outage.
I saw that.
So, oops, sorry. Anyway, and I just wanted to add on the home builders thing. I don't know who's building all these multifamily houses, but near me, it is nothing but multifamilies everywhere. Every spare plot of land is a new luxury apartments for 1-2 bedrooms for $3-4 grand a month. That's all they're building near me. Crazy. So whoever's building that stuff, kudos to you. A lot going on there. All right, John Salama, been a pleasure as always. We'd love to have you on again, and good luck out there.
John, appreciate you coming in. Chat loves you.
All right.
I thought John was never going to come back again. I was like, we'll bring him on. We're never bringing him back. The chat says we have to bring you back now, so I guess we're bringing you back.
Awesome.
You got to give people what they want, John.
Wonderful. Yeah, please do. And also, if you care about my market takes, I'm at NeverDieJS on YouTube, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at market close.
The link to his Twitter is in the description. Check it out.
Never die, JS.
These markets never die, and that's kind of the inspiration.
All right.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day.
All right. It is 9:30. We are open. Let's talk about. There isn't much in the way of headlines this morning, but let's talk about the one big earnings report we had, which is McDonald's. I think we have the chart. It's flat on the. We just opened. It's flat on the day. It was up 1% an hour ago. It's pretty unchanged right now. So not a lot going on with the stock. It was not a good quarter for McDonald's. They missed the estimate on the top line and the bottom line for the first time in 3 years, their same store sales actually declined on a year-over-year basis. So and traffic to the stores fell as well. So not a lot of good things to say out of this report from McDonald's. As Steve always says, very oftentimes these earnings reports will resolve themselves in the direction of the underlying trend, which in McDonald's case for this year has been down. So it's kind of more of the same for them.
I'm not gonna lie. I looked at a headline this morning.
In McDonald's?
I looked at a headline, true story, a real life headline, and it said that McDonald's, it was a miss across the board.
Yeah.
Is that fake news or was that an accurate?
No, that's what I just said. Yeah, there was not a lot of good things to come out of this.
Now, a stock like Mickey D's that's gotten the crap kicked out of it, one of the worst performers in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is the world's most important index. This thing just getting the crap kicked out of it, missed across the board, and the stock's not down.
These arcs should be golden here.
It's been played out. We did it already.
Yeah,
we did
all
it.
right.
We
Yeah.
did it. We can't be going. We can't be reusing jokes. We do it. But yes, the arc should be golden. Alfonso, shame on you.
Is this the classic golden arch non-top?
Well, that's what I'm alluding to, Strazza. We're talking about this. McDonald's gotten killed. Consumer discretionary got killed. Some of these consumer discretionaries bounce back hard. Amazon, Tesla, homies. Here's Mickey D's. And we're down at support, miss across the board, and the stock's not going down. Like,
Oh, it's early.
it's early, fine.
Yep.
It's early, yes, Spencer. You're absolutely right. Still, stock miss across the board. Stock's at the highs of the day, up a stick. Same.
Great American brand.
Oh, here we go.
Great American brand. This will be a very exciting turnaround story eventually. I think it might need time, though. I think it needs a little time.
You know that my wife refuses to take our kids to Taco Bell?
Listen, Taco Bell's a little sketch. Taco Bell's a little
She's
sketch.
like, why can't we just take them to McDonald's?
I don't blame her. I would be thinking the same thing.
When I was a kid, my parents didn't take me to Taco Bell either. And then I had a friend move from California to Miami, and he became my best friend. And him and his family introduced me to Taco Bell.
You fell in love.
It was just something new, you know?
Yeah, listen,
Something new.
I could do Taco.
The best is Checkers. I had this argument with my wife yesterday. Not that she gives a shit. She wasn't even arguing with me. She doesn't care at all. Checkers has the best burgers and the best fries.
Yeah. Wendy's. I'll just throw out a Wendy's. Wendy's, really, underrated.
Wendy's sucks.
No.
Wendy's sucks, dude.
The pretzel
And the
bacon.
shareholders are voting accordingly. It's a piece of hot garbage.
I don't know.
What do you get at Wendy's? A Frosty?
Pretzel Baconator. So good.
Stop
So
it.
good.
Pretzel Baconator? I'm having a
Pretzel
heart attack
Baconator.
just thinking about it.
You got to get involved. Try a
I'm
pretzel.
definitely
Baconator.
not going to get that. I've been on the Perlman program. I've been hitting it pretty hard.
You're allowed to cheat. He eats ice cream like once a week. So
I ran 10 miles this weekend.
no, really?
Wow. It's more than me.
At one time?
I did a 2 a day yesterday.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
I did a hardcore hike on Saturday because we have a 4-mile loop, 4 and change in my
Yeah.
neighborhood, and I'm at the top of the hill, so there's it's like 500 feet each way. So uphill, downhill, and then I got like overachievers in my neighborhood that like
Yeah.
text us like
you
their
told me.
like times,
Ugh,
and it just makes me feel terrible about myself because they're so much faster than I am.
obnoxious. I hate that. Tell them to stop doing that.
It's not about how fast. It's just about getting out there.
That's good, dude.
That's what I
mean,
said. I texted him my time, and I'm like, look, I might be slow as fuck, but I am hungover from Seinfeld the day before because I went to Seinfeld Friday night, which is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Are you going to talk to us about that during the reset?
Well, we'll get to it on the. But yeah, anyway, so I'm not eating your pretzel baconator
No, but you should.
after doing 10 miles this
You
weekend.
should.
All the more reason to eat it. I mean, you deserve it. You earned
I
it.
don't,
And
I
I'll
don't
tell you.
even want it. Like I don't even want that.
Listen, buddy. Your neighbors might not be impressed, but I'm impressed. 10 miles. Good for you.
My ribs. I'm texting Strazza my recipe for ribs because I was in the process of making them, and I was like, Strazza's doing this all wrong.
We didn't do the mustard, but we will next time, and there will be another ribs day soon in my house. They're so good.
Get that one. What I sent you, the pig with the honey.
I will.
The name.
Yeah, I will.
JC, I sort of did your like Korean barbecue pork steak recipe last night. Yeah, I modified it for what we had, but yeah, big hit. So thanks.
Green onions, and if you can get some sesames, throw that on there too.
Yeah.
You ever do it with short rib?
Yeah, you got to braise them.
Yeah, but you want to know, Strazza? You want to know the truth?
Yeah,
I have done this experiment.
Yeah,
and I've actually made, because you make the short ribs the same way you do the oxtails. There's no difference. It's literally the same thing. So I made both at the same time just to do the real valid test.
Yeah, what's better?
It's not even close.
Oxtail's too good.
It's just
to
the point where I've never eaten short ribs again. When I did that experiment, and I was living in California at the time, so that was over 5 years ago.
Oh, I get it.
I did that experiment. I've never had short ribs ever again.
And it's an inferior meat. All right.
Far, 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 far inferior.
You know what I'm really into lately, though? The pork belly.
Meat Church. That's the one.
Yes.
Charles D.
Yeah,
That's it.
Me. Yep.
Meat Church. Yeah, that's it. The honey one.
Get involved.
Someone's paying attention.
We'll order it on Amazon.
Yeah. My sister introduced me to that. I think they're from Massachusetts. I might be making that up.
I don't know.
She was giving it to me for like Father's Day or something.
Other headlines. I don't think we have the chart, but we had earnings from ON Semiconductor ON, and it's up. What is it up now? It's up a lot today. It's up 10%, 11% here this morning. So some semis looking strong, right? If you look away from, Nvidia for a second.
Well, it's absolutely right, Spencer. It's a stock picker's market, and there are some semis that, frankly, don't look like the ones that have been getting sold. Right. In other words, you look at ON, this is something like this chart's still kind of messy. Like the reversal's not even in yet. I think you want to be a little bit more interested in the ones that are printing fresh trend reversals or are close to that than the ones that have already hit 4 or 5 targets over the past 2 years.
Yeah.
Feel me on that?
Yeah, I feel you.
Sucks a little bit. Sprinkle some love into the other guys. There's a lot of stocks out here. We got a lot of stocks. There's more than just 7 stocks.
As much as I hate it, cliched as it is a stock picker's market. I hate saying it, but
hey, listen, I can't yell at you. Can't yell at you because you're not wrong.
Speaking of picking stocks, do we have anything in the hot corner today?
Listen, Dawson's got a great question in here, and I don't really have a feel outside of the fact that I feel they can justify a cut right now. I'm not saying that they will, but based on the data and the rules that they tell us that they play by, I think they could cut at this meeting. I don't think they will. I think you definitely get one by the next meeting. But this is kind of up in the air. I have no idea. If they come out and cut, dude, oh my God, that might be the real risk. They're probably afraid to cut right now because the market has been so red hot, and they'll spark like a buy everything rally if they come out and cut at this meeting. I'm sure that's what Jerome Powell's thinking behind closed doors.
I think we're at a Fed Funds futures saying 4% chance of a cut tomorrow, Wednesday.
It would be shocking. They could justify it. They have the data. The data's on their side. If they wanted to come out and throw a little 25 at us, they could do it. Wouldn't be crazy. Again, I don't think they will. They could. So that's the world that we're in now. That's
how about they won't and stock market rips anyway?
Even better. That would be
10
times
if
better.
They don't, then they'll say they will in September.
Yep. They're ready to go, man. Listen, the Fed, here's the thing about the Fed right now. My whole career, they've never been in such a good position. They have ammo now, right? My whole career, we're close to 0% interest rates. They have no tools to come in and save things. If we're already at 0, what are they going to do? Send us negative? Be like Germany and Japan, right? So that was always like a tough, position for the Fed to be in, because when you're that close to 0, there's not much you could do. You're giving away the levers that you have to pull. Now we're back up near 5%. Fed can make it rain if they need to.
Remember when we were talking about German yields, how there was resistance at 0?
Coming from below.
Coming from below, there was legit resistance at 0 in German 10s. Remember that?
Oh, man.
That wasn't that long ago.
So that's my feel for the FOMC, Dawson. Sorry, we could do hot corner. We got some big stake building going on here.
I like it.
I can go for some steaks.
So hot right now.
What do you got?
Abdeel Capital Management. I think they're up to like close to 20% now. In Appian, I don't know what Appian does. APPN. It looks like an ARC stock. It looks like an ARC stock. It also looks a lot like Zoom right now, right? They couldn't break it down.
You know Appian. We've talked about this before. It's one of those software stocks.
I know it's software, but I don't know like specifically what they're doing.
It's shitty software in particular.
Shit. Okay. So this is shitty tech.
Some of the shittiest.
Shitty tech, not non-profit.
When your chart looks like ARC, you know you suck.
Yes, but
this one looks exactly like ARC.
Here's the takeaway about this chart and others like it. The bears got nothing. If you can't break down a chart that looks like this, look at the little scoop and score. Disgusting failed breakout. Trap the bears, you rip it higher. It's got almost a double-digit short interest, so not nothing. This is what bad charts look like right now. Not too bad.
Not too bad, right?
Is the
Took
point
the words right out of my mouth. Not that bad, right?
You know, and that's just such bull market behavior, JC, yes. Right? When you take a step back and you see a bunch of charts like this, right, that are bull hooking higher into an old range that are failing to break down. Well,
explain what bull hooking means.
A bull hook is the same
like bull riding.
A bull hook is the same as a bear trap. To me, it's just the move that comes after. You trap the bears where we have this green circle. And what do I mean by trap the bears? They look at this, and short sellers, you know, they're drooling at the mouth. It's set up like this. They get short. And then when you get that bull hook higher, that move higher, they have to cover. They become incremental buyers. And that's why you get like a, you know, pretty swift move, just like we've had over the past few weeks and something like Appian. But the bigger point that I'm trying to make is that this is just bull market behavior. Not being able to break down a bad chart, shorts not working. This is just, you know, another one of those things that we look at and be like, oh yeah, this is a bull market. Look at this.
You mean like McDonald's today?
Yeah, they can't break down the worst looking ones. I mean, of course, can we point to a Nike here and there? Yeah, you'll always be able to. But on balance, they're not able to break down charts that are in nasty primary downtrends.
Little bullish divergence there on the Nike. Am I getting too cute?
You know, listen, I can't wait for that to be a turnaround story too. But I think just like McDonald's, great American brand, also great American brand, needs time.
Speaking of great American brands, Ford getting the shit kicked out of it again today.
Is Ford really still the great American brand? I wonder. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, and it will be, but it's not a good.
I think
the business is in trouble.
I think they're one of those companies that like pay their employees that don't work there anymore. It's one of those kind of things.
Well,
the economics of the EVs just don't work. They're losing like 40 grand on every EV that they sell. It's like ridiculous. So
I love my Ford Explorer.
I hate my Ford.
You hate your Ford? Really?
Yeah, man. The only reason I bought a Ford is because social pressure. Like I felt so self-conscious driving around Detroit in a Toyota.
Why?
I was like,
yeah, okay.
Like, I can't buy a foreign car here.
Those people are idiots, first of all, because look at the chart of Toyota and look at the chart of Ford Motor. You're smart by buying the Toyota. Just because you're in Michigan and people want to buy shitty cars in Michigan.
No one even said anything to me. It was all in my head. I was like, I was so insecure about it. I gotta buy a Ford. So I bought a Ford.
I have a GM. I have a GMC Denali. I love it. Yeah. I'm ordering another one because in 2 weeks the 2025s come out. I'm ordering another one in 2 weeks.
Had mine for
blue.
Almost 2 years, no problems, not a single problem. Knock on wood. Now something will go wrong today. Now that I said that,
I dad so hard in my Denali, dude.
You dad out. I know you do.
With the Thule.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I dad so hard.
You got the stickers on the back about like being a dad?
No.
You should.
No, it says my sticker says "Let's go, Brandon" on the back. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, all right,
just kidding.
Anyway, guys, get the hot corner. It's a free daily note. Comes out like 8 o'clock in the morning every day. It takes maybe 30 seconds to read and understand and interpret. The link to get it is in the description on YouTube, right there where it says hot corner.
The hot corner is so hot right now too.
It is so hot right now.
Throw that out there.
It is so hot right now. They're buying these banks, man.
The institutions are out here. The big money is flowing.
Let's just go do a quick little rundown here. You got the Dow flat after being up almost 200 points before. Nasdaq still up a full percent. S&P futures up 1/3%. Bonds are still up on the 30-year, 0.5%. Crude oil back in the green, above 77. Copper still down 1%, above 4. Gold 24.40, hanging in there. Silver flat at 28, hanging in there. Bitcoin's the big story of the day. Literally, did it kiss 70? Holy fuck! It literally kissed 70.
Dude,
70,000 even was the high of the day today. Wow, look at that.
this is
70,000. Wow.
JC. I thought the conversation that you had with John early in the interview was just so prescient, so important. So basically, he said something that was great. He said not investing or investing is risky, not investing is riskier. And then he was talking about Bitcoin and the way that, you just add a little sleeve of Bitcoin to your portfolio, and that can juice your returns and create alpha over, the broader market or something like that so easily. You can't not be invested in this asset class right now. And I think it's been a gift for investors that this breakout has been so orderly and it's taking so much time. Like, if you're not in now, you're not too late. These charts are beautiful. We've been sideways for months, quarters now in crypto. Like, the move hasn't been made yet. Choose your fight or get involved. I think this thing is just starting.
I
Right?
like that. Choose your
Usually,
fighter.
like, crypto moves on you. It shakes you out. It rips while you're sleeping. Like, it's right here, looking at us, dead in the face for months now. Beautiful textbook consolidation. When this thing takes out 70, you got to be involved. You got to be involved, and it's not too late. I think that's just an important point to make.
I'm also very interested in the how illegal it is for the ETH ETFs to stake.
Stupid, man. That's the kind of nonsense that I think, maybe a more friendly administration helps with.
You don't think that they're trying to eliminate the Ponzi?
I don't know what that means. What's
money goes in and then it goes into this other thing and then it yields and it comes. It's Ponzi-nomics, isn't it? No.
I get paid staking my Solana. That's however Coinbase is paying me. It seems to be working just fine.
You're a piker. You're not an ETF. You're just a regular. With all due respect, not that you're a piker, but relative to an ETF provider, you're irrelevant. So you can do that. But when there's that many assets, don't Ponzi-nomics now start working their way in? I'm asking. I don't know. I'm asking.
Here, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't understand staking. I don't know how it works. I get paid every couple of days on my Solana. So it seems to be working great.
You're a liquidity provider. That's it. You're providing liquidity.
So they're taking
other liquidity providers on TradFi exchanges get paid for that too.
Yeah, they do. And that wasn't the case for a very long time. Crypto moving fast here. It was a long time before the rest of the world understood what rebate income was and wanted a piece of it.
I just got a wire for $1,400 from Twitter.
Oh, nice.
For my advertising or something.
Nice.
You heard about this? What Mara's doing?
$1,400.
Sorry, what'd you get it for?
For nothing, really. My understanding from my advertising stipend.
Yeah.
$1,400.
Listen,
it's pretty good, no?
Yeah, it's great. I don't understand what you're saying. Mara put out.
Twitter sent me $1,400 unsolicited.
Oh, Twitter paid you, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
$1,400.
So is it the more you tweet, the more you get paid?
I have no idea.
And it's
I think it's engagement. Maybe
it's your cut of the ads that they put on your profile.
Yeah.
Billy wants to know when you're flipping the book and mortgaging the house and going all in on the Bitcoins.
When they break out.
72? Or you know it when you see it.
It's like porn. You know when you see it.
Yeah.
I think that there's going to be other breakouts as well. I don't think it's just going to be a Bitcoin situation. I think there's going to be other stuff happening as well. And I will dramatically flip the book as we did above 31. That worked out very well.
So I've heard that there's a press release out there and that Mara is now HODLing, right? The way this normally works is they mine the Bitcoin and they sell the Bitcoin. Mara's putting it on their balance sheets and is HODLing the Bitcoin. I love this kind of stuff.
I like that too.
Good for them. I bet the rest follow.
Yeah. I like that.
I'll have to read the PR, but I did hear rumors of this.
I'm surprised that they haven't
right?
They haven't done that already because they couldn't afford it, probably.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
They
Go
can
Mavs.
pull Michael Saylor and just issue secondaries and just keep hodling.
Yeah, right.
You know?
I mean, that guy,
That guy.
too good.
God bless. You know how you always complain how like when you were in college they would tell you how Jack Welch was the greatest guy ever. Do you think like in the future that Jack Welch is going to be replaced with a one Michael
No.
Saylor?
No.
Is that funny? Real talk. No?
GE
No.
looks great.
Okay. Let's do recess.
Not because of Jack Welch.
No, nothing to do with him.
All right, we're doing recess.
Get it.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Jack Welch. We break balls around here quite a bit. But I was in the Upper East Side once on a Sunday afternoon, just minding my own business, just walking, and outside of Le Biblouquet, before Le Biblouquet moved into the new place that they've been in for a while. This was when it was still a little tiny joint in the Upper East Side, and Jack Welch was sitting out there with another old white guy. Each one of them had their own bottle of wine. And it was like Sunday at noon or 1. And I thought that was really, really cool. And my girlfriend, not my current wife, but girl that I was with at the time, we watched. She had no idea who Jack Welch was. And I was like in awe. I was like, this is when he was still like the man,
This
Like,
is
oh
the
my
only
God,
reason-
Jack Welch is taking the wine to the dome in the middle of the day. Love that.
This is the only reason why you like him. It's a great story, though.
It is a great story. By the way, shout out Le Biblouquet. They do this Cajun chicken, which is like out of this world.
Biblouquet. Look, we have to talk about the Olympics, right? We got to talk about the Olympics. I am so glad that the Olympics are taking place in Paris so that the rest of the world can see just how freaking weird these people are, dude. It is absolute bizarro world over there. I'm sorry. They're like flaunting like the Seine, the dirtiest river in the world. It's absolutely disgusting. The whole thing about like the politician jumping in the water, like what a joke. I don't understand all the weirdness. I loved it. The opening ceremony, fantastic. I've really been enjoying the Olympics, but I don't know, France. I don't know.
I just want to give a shout out to Gold Zone. It's kind of the only way to watch the Olympics. It's just it's like Red Zone. They
Okay.
just jump around from
Gold
sport
Zone.
to sport, and you only get the good shit.
Gold Zone. See
Yes,
that?
that's
You only
clever.
get the good stuff because let's be honest. Like there's a lot of boring stuff in the Olympics. Like things a lot of times things aren't happening, or it's like early in the match or game, and it's like not interesting. They just jump around, and that's the only way to watch it, in my opinion. So I watched like 15 sports this week, and I was just jumping around. It was great.
Do you pay for it? How do I get it?
If you get NBC, or if you have Peacock, it should be on Peacock. I don't have Peacock, so I wouldn't know, but I assume it's there. If you get NBC, like if you have a cable subscription, then I only have a smart TV, so it's in the NBC app, and then you just load it up, and it's there.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, the NBC app on your smart TV is what I do.
So I've really been enjoying water polo, beach volleyball. Always, what a blast that is to watch. And
What's up with all the camera angles when they get underneath these women? Like this is a little creepy.
I don't know. It's probably France. Probably
Beach volleyball is
But-
top 5 for me for
And-
sport to watch.
the women's gymnastics last night was just awesome. Like Simone Biles is just, it's like mind blowing. You just see her spinning around, flipping around up there, just like it's like not human. So what a freak of an athlete she is. That's
So a
just,
couple of things. First of all, I love the Olympics. I was there in '96 in Atlanta.
it's so
Like,
cool.
Unbelievable. The Olympics going to be in Los Angeles in 4 years, so I will be there with my whole family.
So cool.
Also, when you talk about France, you're specifically referring to the Parisians. The Parisians and the rest of France are two completely different animals.
Not the
I would
same.
encourage you go like to Normandy. They got a bunch of Germans there. That's why they're so nice there in Normandy. It's lovely. Go to the countryside. When do you guys start getting to the south of France, like Nice, Saint-Tropez? They start getting douchey down there too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Not as bad as the Parisians, but they're pretty douchey down there.
Yeah.
In all the best ways, because it is pretty awesome down there. So I just want to reiterate that it's not just France. It's not France that sucks.
Probably a good point.
Parisians in particular that nobody likes. And they, by the way, they don't like any of us either. So it's
Well aware. Well
Yeah.
aware.
And Jerry Seinfeld, Friday night.
Yeah, I want to hear
saw
about
him.
this.
Fantastic. I mean, you knew he was going to be good. The
He was
question was, how
hilarious?
good is he
Wait,
going to
was
be?
it like new stuff, or was he just going like
It
through?
was
His...
all brand new stuff. Also, I saw what's his name? Who did I see? like a month ago. Little guy. What's his name?
Kevin
Bill
Hart.
Burr?
Kevin Hart. I saw Kevin Hart the other day, who was hilarious, but he had guys that opened up for him, who were hilarious too. The guys that open up for these guys are so good.
Yeah, he's got
And
like
Kevin Hart was like maybe half the whole thing, maybe 2/3.
He's good.
Jerry Seinfeld, the opener came out. He did like 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most, and then Jerry did the rest of the show, 2 hours straight, dude. Very impressive.
That's a
Very
long show.
impressive. And it was just like family jokes, like so good, so good. And then at the end, he had like a Q&A where people asked him like his favorite episodes of Seinfeld all time.
Oh, that's cool.
It was when they stole the bread.
Wait, he does
from the lady
Q&A?
in the grocery store.
He takes questions when he's done.
He took Q&A at the end. Yep. So when they stole the bread at the store, at the market, when Costanza, like at the end, like finds, right? Then Kramer threw something out in the ocean, and then Costanza finds it at the end on the beach. Those are like
I actually don't know if I've seen this one. I'll be
I'm
honest.
not like
I've not seen them
like
all.
obsessed person. There's a lot of those out there. A lot of my friends are, so they know exactly what I'm talking about. It was great. It was great.
All right. Yeah, that's cool. I've never seen Jerry Seinfeld live, but my impression of him is that he's a dick. But he's a funny guy.
He was awesome, unbelievable.
All right.
I assumed he would be.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld. Like I doubt he's gonna suck.
He is the comedian's comedian. The comedians love Jerry Seinfeld.
Of course.
Right? They think he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
So I don't know. All right.
A lot of fun.
What's going on today? It's Monday, so we have the Flow Show, Strazza and Sean. That'll be at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Didn't do one last week, so the guys have to make up for some lost time. And then later on today, for members of the Breakout Multiplier, our very first options education course, going to be at 4:00, going through. You'll find out if you're there. You'll find out. How about that? The link to get to that course and that video is in the description. It's actually the very first link at the top of the description below the video on YouTube. So we'll see you guys there for that at 4:00, and that's what I've got to say.
Happy Monday.
In bull markets, historically, I've gone back. I've looked. I've gone back. I've done the math. In bull markets, investors are historically rewarded for owning stocks. Investors that are not in stocks and too much cash are historically penalized. Breakout Multiplier is the best way in the history of humankind to maximize the opportunities in bull markets. You know how I know that? Because it was designed specifically to do that.
It's all about the juice. We want the juice.
All about that juice. About that juice.
Solana's about to moon, y'all.
Solana's about to moon, y'all. Not evidence of a bear market, right? If Solana is moving, chances are, if Solana is mooning, then chances are Bitcoin is making new all-time highs. Yeah. Chances are I'm irresponsibly long.
Yes. Let's do it.
Yes.
All right. Smash the like. We'll see you later. Go make money.
Adios.
Bye.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah. Hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah. I can't take no loss.